Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Raise podcast. Today, we are joined by Danny Morel. He's a life coach and spiritual leader who guides individuals worldwide to awaken, heal, and transform their lives. Through his teachings, he helps people overcome limiting beliefs and internal barriers, leading to improvements in work, relationships, health, and finances. His mission is to help people awaken their highest purpose, potential, and power, believing that as one person heals and transforms, their energy positively influences those around them.
Danny, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you share a little bit about your journey and what sparked your own spiritual awakening?
I think like most of us, pain sparks it. Because we get so caught up in doing life, in working and creating and building. I like to think of it as it's a very masculine world, a very mind-driven world, a very go-do world. And, the feminine is the opposite. It's peace, it's surrender, it's acceptance, it's allowance. And so it's very tough for us as human beings to get into the feminine because we've been taught that everything that we want is out there somewhere, that we have to go get it. Well, death has a way of like bringing us to our knees. And so my mom passed away. And when she did, everything stopped. And so much so that these questions started coming to my mind that I had always been afraid to ask because I knew the answer. Are you happy? Are you doing what you love? Is this relationship, working out for you? Who is God? Like really deep questions. And I didn't have the answers for them. And that's when I knew I wanted the answers for them. And that's when the journey began, really.
So you created a really successful real estate company and this kind of path now that you're on. How does one pivot and leave something, I guess, as you say, so masculine and kind of finance and success driven, to then turn that around? Because I guess a lot of people are probably going through similar things. How does one pivot and become more aligned?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing is an understanding of energy. Before we spiritually awaken or before we have a spiritual moment, we are operating from lower frequencies. And those lower frequencies come from experiences that we had in our childhood. It could be something as simple as you were the apple of your mother and father's eyes, and then all of a sudden your brother or sister came around, and now that love that was like undivided for you is now split up. Take it a step further, that sibling has an illness, and now your mom and dad are like not emotionally there for you because now they're all focused. So what happens is a story gets created. I'm second best. And if I want to become, the best, or if I want to get my mom and dad's attention, I'm going to go show them that I'm worthy of it. To a deeper level, things like sexual trauma, right? To a deeper level, things like being told that our voice is not valuable. I know there's a lot of moms and parents listening. To a deeper level, hitting our children, all of these things shape the construct of what our view of life is. And anything that is outside of the frequency of love causes fear in us, causes separation in us. And then, so what happens is we spend our entire lives going out trying to do something, become something, or have something that will cause us to feel like we're back home, like we're seen, like we're worthy or valuable. And this is where most of us operate. And we operate from this place, and then we finally get to like the peak of the mountain, which is what happened to me. We were doing $1 billion in annual sales, 40 million in revenue. Life is supposedly great. I had the big house, the perfect family, everything. But inside I had nothing. And that was the moment of awakening. And so, like, how do you shift? The shift happens as a natural byproduct of the inner work that you do. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that, like, when you really are in sync, in harmony, and alignment with who you are, what you do, who you're with, the relationship you're in, all of life is just a byproduct of what is going on inside. And so the shift happens naturally when you start to shift, basically.
I love that.
So you just briefly mentioned alignment. What does alignment exactly mean to you? And how can people know if they're out of alignment?
So let's take relationships, for example, right? Relationships nowadays are getting harder and harder because we are getting more and more disconnected with ourselves. A relationship, whoever that is, a relationship with your partner is just a mirror and a reflection of the relationship that you have within yourself. If there's mistrust in your partner, it's because there's mistrust within yourself. If there is judgment with your partner, it's because there's judgment with yourself. If there is jealousy with your partner, it's because there's insecurity with yourself. Yeah. And again, all of this you learn as a little boy or as a little girl.
So say if you, for example, if you thought your past partner was being unfaithful, how would that then turn back to it being on yourself if you don't trust them? If you know, if you kind of have that feeling.
Yeah, so we're going to take things even deeper, right? It's either one or the other. All of life is duality. All of life is yin and yang, masculine, feminine, black, white, the beginning, the end, birth, death, the moon, the sun, inhale, exhale, right? All of that. Where spirituality is found is when we can transcend the world of duality. In order to do that, we have to understand that we are either, there's no in between, the victim of life or the creator of life. And this is really, really, really important, right? Because if you think that, for example, your partner is cheating on you, it's very easy for you to go into victim mode because, of course, there's a lot of pain attached to that naturally. The deeper question, however, that one must ask themselves is, why did my soul call in this experience?
Okay.
Yeah. Why did I create this experience? What did I need to learn about myself? What mask have I been wearing? What have I been afraid to look at, right? What is this going to do for me? And hopefully, when it's here, can it allow me to look inside of myself versus blaming?
Okay.
Because when you blame, you deflect. You deflect all the power. You deflect all of the power that this circumstance has given you to be able to go inward and heal and transform your life. This is why I say, and people like really get triggered by this one, there is no such thing as a narcissist. Because a narcissist is simply just a human being that is experiencing a tremendous amount of pain. Pause. Question for you. What did you do, or what state of energy were you in that allowed you to call in and attract that narcissist? What state or energy were you in where you didn't notice the red flags, which you probably could have noticed if you were paying attention on the first or the second date? When you are in the fullness of your energy, when you are centered within yourself, you could spot it. You could feel energy, especially women, because women are the masters of the spiritual world. Men are the masters of the physical, right? And that's why a woman, her actual like unique gifting is her intuition. She knows. The question is, does she have the courage to listen to what she knows?
That's so true.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because when you're completely, let's call it, healed and in your divine, balanced, aligned energy, let's just be real. Let's just be honest. A narcissist or someone who's toxic or whatever comes into your life, what are you going to do? This is not for me.
Say goodbye.
But if you're coming from need,
Yeah.
if you don't want to be alone, if the biological clock is ticking, if all of these things are happening, do you understand what I'm saying?
You're ignoring the noise.
That you just, no, it's okay. But, and this is where all of these factors outside of us have this powerful way of controlling our life based off of what society wants, or your parents want, or your religion wants. And instead of listening to and harnessing your own answer, you're looking for answers outside, and therefore you literally bypass yourself.
Yeah. So to be fully healed, or, you know, you've just been to an event, Awaken.
Yeah.
How does one awaken their best and highest self?
Yeah, it's a really deep process, right? But it's a 3-step process. Number one, I call it awareness.
Okay. And that's the first step.
It's the first step. And you got to become aware of the unconscious patterns that are happening in your life, the unconscious thought process, the ways in which you seek approval, the ways in which you need validation, the ways in which when a situation comes up with your partner, for example, you immediately start to defend or attack or deflect, or you're afraid and you stay quiet because you don't want to confront. You know what I'm saying?
That's me.
Right? Yeah. That used to be me.
I stay quiet.
Yeah, that used to be me, right? Why? So let's take it a step further.
I'd love to.
Right?
Yeah.
So in my previous relationship, I was the guy that on the outside, I was the man. I was successful, powerful, big business, 400 plus employees, right? I was the man. At home, I was a bitch, straight up, right? Because when I was born to a mother whose mother passed away at 13 days old. We get the frequency and energy of love from our mothers, the feminine, our connection to our hearts. We get our connection to the masculine, our ability to decide, direct, envision, whatever, from our fathers, right? Our mother teaches us how to relate to ourselves because we're born from her. It's the first relationship we have. It's self. So the love you received or didn't receive from your mother is the love. I'm already feeling you. I feel you already, right? It's the love that you have or don't have for yourself. It's the power, the connection that you have or don't have to yourself. And when you don't have that power or connection in here, like I did not, guess what you will have a very difficult time doing in relationships? Stepping into that power, setting boundaries. Why? Because you don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And so that was me. So I was in a relationship for 13 years where it's never her fault. It's always you. They're always just a mirror for you, right? And her pattern was attracted by my pattern. And my pattern was attracted by her pattern. Yeah. And so what would happen is we'd get in an argument, for example, and through that argument, I didn't want to confront because confronting meant the potential of losing for me. And so I didn't want to lose. Yeah. Why? Because I never got my mom's love. And so this is what actually caused me to be in a relationship and be married, is I was searching for love outside of myself. Yeah. And so what happens is you avoid, right? Well, the longer you avoid, the further you actually push away the lesson that the person is here to teach you. The lesson that the person is here to teach you is to find your power. And here's what happens. Eventually, after years and years and years and years of avoiding your truth, trust me, something is going to happen in life to make you come face to face with it.
Yeah.
And for me, it was an affair.
Okay.
And it was something that, like, guys, I was the Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. I was the church boy. I was the leader of the community. I was the one that when all of the guys wanted to go on a guys trip, the girls would trust the guys to go on the guys trip if Danny was going. Because he knew Danny would keep them in alignment, like, right? Okay. And so for me to do that.
So you really rebelled
against. My God. But it was all unconscious. And then later years used to tell me, like, people used to tell me, like, well, everyone makes mistakes. And I can honestly look back at it all and say, it wasn't a mistake. It was actually like the key that unlocked the truth in both of us, And sometimes that leads to even deeper connection, right? If you can move past it. And then for us, it just meant our time together was over. Basically.
No, I totally agree. I think sometimes trauma in relationships, it can either make or break you.
Yeah.
And it's what's meant to be.
100%.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker, guys. Like, if you look at every single thing that happens in your relationship, Jen and I teach this to couples, right? We call it the little shit that leads to the big shit, right?
Yeah.
So say, for example, dishes in the sink. You're already laughing.
No, I'm laughing because Nassie's married to my brother, and I know how pissed off he'll be with dishes in the sink.
So like pause, right? So like Jen and I first get married, and Jen has her shit everywhere, right? Like there's shoes everywhere. There's like, and I'm constantly like picking up and
How's the
constantly
state of
like,
her car?
Was that?
How's the state of her car?
Oh, it's terrible.
Thank
It's
you.
a mess.
I'm so
It's
pleased.
An absolute
Good.
mess, right? And for me, it was the dishes.
Okay.
Right? Because I was just used to it, right?
Yeah.
And so what started to happen is that we started to bicker and bicker and bicker until like a fight exploded. And this is what you're actually waiting for in relationships. The problem is that what we do, since no one has ever taught us how to deal with this stuff, and no one has ever taught us that the small shit is actually leading to the big shit, is that we just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
And what happens is year after year after year of doing that, your heart starts to build up resentment.
Yeah.
And your heart starts to build up walls. And that's what leads to turmoil, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you lead with love instead of fear wants you to sweep it under the rug. Love goes, hang on, what's here for both of us? There's some juiciness here for both of us. There's life here for both of us if we go into it.
It's an opportunity, isn't it?
It is exactly an opportunity. And I can't say this enough. It is the exact opportunity that your soul is creating for you to awaken. And you know how I knew it? I knew it when she started to say to me the exact words that my ex-wife would say to me.
No.
The word for word. And this, I would be like,
What's going on?
yeah. Like, maybe it's not them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. And so then that's awareness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Awareness is going, whoa. I've been operating unconsciously my entire life. Right?
Yeah.
Step 2 comes healing, where you get to, in this case, as a man, speak to your wife and say, baby, first things first, I've got to be honest with you about something. I'm noticing a pattern. I just became aware of that. You're telling me the exact thing that my ex used to tell me. And so I take ownership of this and realize this isn't a you thing. This is a me thing, right? And so watch this, like when a man can say that to a woman, the woman immediately starts to feel safe and go, okay, we could like work on this now, right?
It softens
It
doesn't
softens.
it? Yeah.
It softens. This is leaving the head, returning to the heart. This is leaving defense and returning to openness, right? And so then the woman will respond with like, I feel seen. As all women
rather
want.
than
That's literally
attacking.
all we want.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Rather
all.
than going in for the attack and saying, I've noticed you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is what we do, right? And then
Okay.
we stay there for 10, 15 years, guys. And no one wants to cheat.
So in the example of where you're saying about the dishes, how would you say in your situation with my brother and he's noticing the dishes, how would you recommend a man actually approach that situation? What would you say? If you're noticing something that's annoying you a little
bit. The dishes, the shoes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Can I just say I don't have a problem with dishes?
No, I know.
Listen, whatever it is,
yeah.
whatever it is, can I take it further? I'm going to give you even a deeper example.
Okay.
We're about to get married. Second marriage. And I have this thought, oh my God, I'm never going to have sex with another woman ever again. And I'm like, do you really want to do this? Is this what you want? Oh my God, wait a minute, but are we designed to be this way? Like my mind started going nuts. It's either you're going to keep shit in or you're going to talk about it. Those are the only two choices. And for you to talk about it, You have to be with a partner where both of you are committed. Nothing is hidden. Absolutely nothing is hidden. But the only way you can be there is if you're there with yourself. The only way you can be honest with another human being is if you can be honest with yourself, right? And so I brought it up to her. And I said, baby, I've got to be honest with you. What? I said, this thought just keeps ruminating. Like, I'm never going to be with another woman ever again. And not that I want to, it's just, that's just kind of scary for me, right? Like, do I really, like the last relationship I got, like I was hurt, you know, and like, I don't want to do this. I felt trapped. I don't want to feel trapped again. You know what was her response to her credit? Well, who's to say what happens in our relationship? When she said that, I was like, yes. And let me tell you what else happened. The minute she said that, it all went away.
Okay.
Because that's what openness does, right? So in the case of the dishes, I started to look at the dishes we started to look at the dishes and ask ourselves, what about it is actually bothering us?
Yeah, what is the trigger?
What does it make us feel? It makes us feel disrespected.
Interesting.
See, now you can deal with something,
Yeah.
right? Dishes, what was wrong with the dishes? You know, baby, it makes me feel really disrespected. It makes me feel really unhonored. Like, it makes me feel like I'm spending all day working to provide for our family, and then I gotta come home and see this. Like, it just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel fair. See, like, now I'm not fighting with you. I'm expressing my emotions to you. And now you get to go, well, baby, well, I would never want you to feel disrespected. I would never want you to feel that. And then you go, okay, well, then let's come up with a solution. Okay. What if from now on, whenever there's dishes, instead of us leaving them there, what if we commit to just rinsing them and sticking them in the dishwasher, and we'll do it together as a team? Okay. One can rinse, one can hand over. Ready? 5 minutes. That's it. Make up sex, life is great. And now you grow, because guess what? Here's what happens. Now the dishes is no longer an issue. But guess what? Now the real issues will start to show up. And the little shit, the dishes, it's just the doorway to allowing you to deal with the bigger things. And that, my beautiful sisters, is what we're actually afraid of. And that is what relationships are all about. It's not about not being lonely. It's not about finding a partner. A real relationship is about mirroring back to you all of the deep parts of your life that you've been afraid to be vulnerable enough to go into. That's what it is for.
So you have to be honest with yourself before you think you can have a real, true, deep relationship.
Well, look, I'll take it deeper. Sex. If you ever want to know what is really happening in your life, just go to sex. Because we are horrible at sex. Because we see sex as an action. In and out, let's get it done quick, whatever. Because we live in action, right? If you really...
So ticking boxes, goals,
exactly,
so get it done.
Just get it done, just do the activity, right? Yeah. Let's be honest. Sex between a man and a woman, it's like fighting a fire. A man is like a fireman. He is ready to go in a minute or less. He could be dead asleep. Where's the fire? Right? I'm ready to fight a woman. You gotta lay the logs the right way. You gotta give it a little oxygen. You gotta let it breathe, and then the fire goes. But then once the fire is starting, she's all over it, right?
Yeah.
So then think about this. Truly, 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 for a woman's heart, her soul, her body to actually open, not be forced open, it takes time. The man doesn't want time. The man wants now, right? The woman doesn't want now. She wants time, right? Again, this is an opportunity for us to take the masculine and the feminine in each of us and allow this action or this activity, the very thing that caused us and brought us into life, to allow deeper and deeper connection. But we're such in a wounded masculine state that we don't ever allow it, because we're so impatient and we're so, analytical, and we're so robotic that we literally have robotic sex, and it's all an opportunity. Yeah.
Wow. So that's obviously what I was just going to jump into daily practice. That's one daily practice which you can implement. But do you have any other daily practices that you swear by to stay connected to your higher self?
So there's this guy on Instagram right now, the big buff black guy that like started getting all
Ashton Hall.
that guy. Okay. And he was famous. Think of this from an energetic level. He became famous because he showed us the power of discipline and daily routine, right? Mm-hmm. A woman is not intended to be in discipline and daily routine.
Sorry, I had a reel that went very viral that was similar. So it's really interesting that you're saying we're not meant to be.
Because the woman is the feminine. Yeah.
And is that to do with our cycles?
100%.
Because we have monthly cycles.
There's like a 6-day or 7-day window where you guys are like on fire and you want to take over the world.
Yes.
But then there's a 6-day or 7-day window where you literally, if you paid attention, you should not be doing anything but like laying in bed and like eating bonbons and watching TV. And we are taught by society to not pay attention to any of
we
them.
have to constantly suppress what is going on internally, don't we? Yeah, which feeds probably actually into a lot of other things.
Exactly.
Sorry, that's like a light bulb moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to tell my husband, sorry.
So now watch. And this is really important. Because I came from a world in sales and in business where I was all about daily routine. I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I'd be in the gym by 5:15. I'd work out for an hour. I'd come home. I would, do what I had to do to get ready. I'd be in the office by 7:30. I was working by 8. I wouldn't come home till 7 or 8 o'clock. And we think this is normal. And then my mentor taught me something. He said, Danny, he said, you can make as much money as you want. Just don't work more than 20 hours a week to make it. And I said, what did you say? He said, yeah, make as much money as you want. Just don't work more than 20 hours a week to make it. And I said, how the hell am I going to do that? He goes, it's not how are you going to do that. It's why you should do that. He says, think about it. We are not created. Think back even 100 years. 100 years, guys. One lifetime ago. We are not created to be working as much as we work. Because when we work as much as we work, when we're so focused, when we're so disciplined, when we live in so much structure, we're away from our hearts. And if we're away from our hearts, we're away from half of us. And when we're away from our hearts, we're away from our power to receive. The world has taught us that all we must be in is in grind, doing, and effort. Well, what if you're actually so powerful that you can manifest and attract 2, 3, and 4 times the income, the possibilities, and the opportunities than you do right now if you were to just tap into your heart and your feminine? See, nobody teaches us this. So when I started looking into this and I started working with ayahuasca and mushrooms and really healing my heart and soul, I started to realize that I get to design my life however I wanted. Priority number 1, from the moment I wake up till 11 a.m. is my time. I do what I want, how I want it, when I want it.
Do you set an alarm to wake up?
I no alarms.
Okay.
No. I want it to all feel flow, natural. I wake up. Sometimes I meditate. Sometimes I don't. From 11 to 2, I work. From 2 to the evening is my partner and my family. That's it.
Wow.
That's my life. Now, it took me a lot of time of doing that. But the hardest work was? The hardest work in getting there was in me allowing that. Do you understand? If you can't allow it, you'll never receive it. Like if you can't fathom the thought of being that free, you will never be that free.
It's society, isn't it, that tells you that you're not working hard, you're not grafting, you're hustling.
100%.
Yeah.
Guys, listen to me. Start paying attention energetically to our top influencers. And you'll notice the most wounded people on the planet. Why? Because someone that is secure and safe in themselves doesn't need your attention, doesn't need your validation. As a matter of fact, they don't need anything from you. That's when I actually started to grow on socials. scroll down. You'll see me. I was posing in front of the car with the sunglasses, with the suitcase, with the pose. And it reeked of, please love me.
Like curated.
Please accept me. Please follow me. Why? Because deep inside, I didn't feel that love from my mom. So I was finding that love in success, power, influence, and validation. Real love doesn't need anything. Real love doesn't need anything from a partner because it has it all within.
So is that attached to confidence in who you are?
100%.
Because, yeah, I feel like confidence plays a massive part in that. So
100%.
Thinking of it in that way is just...
The more confident you are, the less you have to show.
Yeah.
Show me anyone on social media right now that is busy showing you their body, their money, their cars, their relationships, their power, their happiness, their everything. I'll show you someone that is deeply scared and deeply wounded within themselves.
Interesting. Okay. Wow.
And the only way I can spot it, by the way, is because that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. And the deeper and deeper I went within myself, the deeper and deeper I allowed my authentic truth. What's my authentic truth? I like to sleep in. I like to be very unregimented. I like to be very undisciplined. I like shit to be easy.
And is that because
I love this?
Well,
it's like the
'cause
opposite,
that's
isn't it, of what
the
we've
exact
said?
opposite of what we've been told. And guess what started happening? More money, more followers, more. So I literally was almost going to get rid of and quit Instagram. And I just started sharing my authentic truth. And everything that I was afraid to talk about, I started talking about it. And some people, yeah, not everybody's going to like you, right?
No, of course. Yeah.
But more and more people started resonating. And it's because I no longer need. I'm just doing it because I genuinely want to help people.
But you speak a lot of truth. Again, it's this honesty and this self-awareness that a lot of people are afraid to observe within themselves or do anything about it because it's either painful or there's so much more.
It's the fear of rejection, the fear of judgment. Yeah.
So you talking about things that a lot of people really deeply resonate, but they feel afraid to feel is, I think, why people obviously connect.
Well, it's like, again, go back to sex. Mm-hmm. Most people have sex without looking each other in the eye. Why? Because you can't look yourself in the eye. Because you can't be honest with yourself. Because you can't go deep within yourself. Because you're avoiding yourself. When you avoid yourself, when you're disconnected with yourself, how can you be connected with your partner?
Mm-hmm. So more eye contact.
You're going to avoid deep connection with your partner because somewhere in your existence with your mother and father, you were shown that deep, vulnerable connection equals pain.
So what are the first steps that you would advise to somebody to go deeper in themselves?
Okay, I'm going to give you the answer. I'll give you two answers.
Okay.
The first answer I would say is go reconnect with Mother Nature. Oh, but that's woo-woo and that's hippie shit. You know what? Call it what you want. But watch what happens. Watch what happens when you take your shoes off, because this was an invention. When you take your shoes off and you return to the way that we were made to live. Mm-hmm. Just go find a little patch of grass and go put your feet for 10 minutes and close your eyes and just listen. And what will you hear? The birds, the wind, the sun, the rain. You'll feel. And you know what? You might even feel heaven on earth.
We always say that that's the most peaceful and it gives us the most clarity when we're, I love to go watch the sunrises and the sunsets. It's like having those moments in nature.
That's right.
Where you can just connect and nothing else really matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, especially when we live in big cities, because we're being bombarded with energy that isn't even ours.
Yeah.
It's so dense. You know what I'm saying? Again, think back 100 years and think back to the way we used to live. Just picture it in your head. Small little huts and houses in community, connected to nature, right?
Yeah.
We weren't meant to live like this. That's why whenever you go on vacation, you feel,
But when you say this, I have like a fear almost of letting it go. That's the crazy thing, and it's questioning what that is. Like when you say, not set an alarm, not have a routine. For me, I grasp onto that because society's like, well, that's what success is, and I feel this fear.
But it's also, so I guess then looking at like what's ingrained in us
Yeah.
to make us think that way. What is it that we're trying to anchor onto, or what do we think success is? There's so many other questions, and I guess.
well, let's take it. We'll go there. So picture this. You're born. In the creation of your life, you come into existence, into the feminine, your mom's belly. Sit with this for a second. You're in darkness, but everything is being provided for you. So you're chill. You're good. Life is great. Dark is feminine, by the way. Whenever you go sit with ayahuasca, you do it at night. There's no light. It forces you to go within. You are born, and what happens? You see the light, and it trips you out. What happens? You enter the masculine. In the entering of the masculine, fear is born. In here, love, peace, life is great. Out here, what's happening? Oh my God, right? Just think of that moment. Think of the moment. This is why, like in most cultures, in most indigenous cultures, they try to make that moment as peaceful as possible. Yeah? And I'm gonna say something. It's a portal. Birth is a portal. It's actually even a rite of passage for the mother and the baby. And if you really, I'm gonna get woo-woo on you here, but when a mother is pregnant nowadays, what is the hospital telling them to do now? Plan C-sections. The baby's not even ready. The mother isn't even ready. And listen, my boys were C-section. No judgment, no nothing. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the body was created and made in a way to where the baby will perfectly be ready. And when the time is right, the baby will come out. But even if you had a C-section, it was perfect. I was a C-section. It's all good. Just look at the plan, right? Well, then when we're born to a mother and father. What happens when the dad's not around? This causes a big issue. This causes a disconnection with the masculine. Because when we're born, we see our parents. No one's told you about religion. No one's told you about anything. This is pure survival. As the masculine and feminine representation of God. Because you're on your back. You're defenseless. You are depending on these people for your sustenance, your food, your everything. But you are also an energetic being. And as an energetic being, you are picking up on the subtleties, the small subtleties of the look on their face, of the energy that they live with, on the way they look at you, on the way they look at and feel with each other. And all of that is teaching you about life. And then you have individual relationships. You have a relationship with your mother and you have a relationship with your father, right? If the relationship with your father was one where your father taught you, you can't count on him. Guess what you are going to do? I will never count on a man ever again. You don't say it, it just happens. And instinctively you start to, from now on, I'm going to find a way to count on myself.
It's like a survival instinct.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you enter a world of doing, going, doing, going, because the last time you did it, you were shown that that is not safe and that equals pain. Or if your mother, if the mother is constantly working, ladies, listen, if the mother is constantly working and she's never around the children, what is the child learning? Love is not available to me because the mother is love. Do you understand? And so all of these things start happening. And guys, in the work that I deal with, the next layer is physical abuse from the mother or father, emotional abuse from the mother and father. I've helped people heal from autoimmune diseases because of beatings. And I've helped people get off of medications. All of it from emotional trauma from your parents. 100% of all of your life is directly connected to your experience with your mother and father. Let me say that again. 1 trillion billion %. The money you make and how you make it. The relationship you're in, and if you have real love and connection or not. The illnesses that you're facing or not facing. All of it is 100% connected to the relationship and experience you had with your mother and father. And here's the beauty of it. You can heal 100% of all of it.
So do you think every child needs to be healed in some way? Because I'm just thinking, as being a parent, you know, we do everything with the best of intentions, right, for our kids. And it feels like such a responsibility knowing what you've said.
Yes.
Because I think we're all so scared of how we are impacting our children.
Yeah.
And I guess
we might have done
yeah,
as well without realising.
Yeah, you know, it's like life is life. And I just wonder how we have to look at the child when they're grown up and kind of give them the tools, because they're going to need healing no matter, even if we've done all the right things.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is a place where I'm going to share this. This is rough because
Okay.
I like to give examples. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about hitting.
Okay.
I remember to this day, I was a very mischievous boy. And I remember to this day, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I would go, and we used to have like the phones back then where you dial the little, or you punch button, right? Mm-hmm. And you would pick up one line, and there'd be a conversation happening in the other. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was really funny to listen in on people's conversations.
Okay.
So I would listen in, and then I would hang it up. Right? Well, one day my dad found out. I was in the shower, hot water, my skin is wet, and he comes in and he beats the living daylights out of me. And to this day, I remember that moment. And my father isn't a mean person, and he's actually a really like heart-centered person. But I feel like there was a part of him that felt like he had to do it, and he was never shown that you can help a child learn without having to touch them. Mm-hmm. Why? Well, because that obviously happened to him.
Yeah.
Right? Well, then guess what I did? The same thing. I've never hit him in my life. Mm-hmm. My other two, I did. Yeah. My oldest, I definitely did. And when I finally started to heal, guys, it was like, oh my God. It would drive me crazy. I had so much guilt and shame because I see what that does to a child. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I finally had to realize, and this is the kicker, this is what you got to understand. The same way everything that happened with my parents happened by design to get me to this point in my life, the same way I called in my parents, the perfect parents that I needed to get me to a place where I could heal my life, is the same way that our kids then did as well. And once you understand that, you can let go of all the guilt and everything. And then from this point forward, you just focus on heal yourself.
Yeah.
The greatest thing you can do for your children, the greatest thing you can do for your partner, the greatest thing you can do for your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, your uncles, is to focus 100% of your healing's journey on your own healing journey. Because when you heal, the energy that happens within you and the healing that happens within you allows you to liberate, without lifting a finger, the healing journeys of the 7 closest people around you. That's how powerful we all are, because we're all energy.
Mm-hmm. So what does doing the inner work actually look like? In a really, I know, it's like you could probably talk about it all day, but even just if anyone's listening and they're wondering
just
where
some actionable steps.
Yeah.
That
Number 1 is connect with Mother Earth.
Okay, yeah.
Number 2 is Go look in the mirror. Go stare in the mirror 3 days a week and start speaking to yourself and start noticing how some people, you can't even do it. That your mind, that's your mind, so disconnected from self that it can't even look at self, right?
Okay.
That used to be me. Number 3 is meditation. And like so many people struggle with meditation. But think about it. Did you struggle with meditation when you're in your mom's womb? No. You were in a state of meditation. The only reason we struggle with meditation, which is also, by the way, a mirror for the state of our mind. When we struggle with meditation, it's because our mind is hyperactive. Meditation is the act of quieting the mind and returning to zero, returning to nothingness. And when you do it long enough, you can connect to the divine that way. Next step is yoga.
Okay.
Yoga is beautiful. I literally looked and it was, look at the time. 12:20. Look at that. 2:22. Look at that. Yoga is beautiful because it allows you to connect your breath, your body, your heart, your soul,
Yeah.
all of it as one, right? And then finally, I'm going to say this because it's the truth. And the day you guys come, you will go, holy shit, this is the truth. The event we've created, Awaken, is the most profound, magical experience that a human being can ever go through in 3 days. It is literally, you could spend 30 years of your life in a chair with a therapist for 30 years, and you will never uncover or unlock what you do in 3 days at Awaken.
Okay.
And that is only because the medicine, the activities, everything that we do, I'll give it to you. On the 3rd day of Awaken, we spend essentially 2.5 days working through everything to cause everyone to feel safe. And on the afternoon of the 3rd day of Awaken, we deal with one of the most severe traumas that a human being can experience, sexual trauma. I'll be in a room and I'll have 500 women in front of me. And the men are sitting in the side because I have a secret plan for it all. And I'll ask 500 women, how many of you have ever experienced sexual trauma before in your life? Guess what percentage raise their hands? Take a wild guess.
100.
No.
Sorry.
Half
Yeah.
and 100. 85 to 90% of all women. Wow. I've done this event 20 plus times and it never fails. And at this last weekend in London, it was 90% of all of the women had experienced sexual trauma. It's profound. And then what we don't realize is that when we experience it on an energetic level, it locks us up energetically. Yeah. It locks our bodies and our hearts and our chakras up so much, we only have one place to go, up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a massive mistrust between men and women right now. And you're seeing it getting wider and wider and wider, right? Look on social media, look in the dating world. It's getting harder and harder. Why? Because we're all in our heads. Men are looking for this perfect, mysterious thing called this like perfect body. A woman's value is not in the body. That's the external.
Yeah.
The body is eventually going to change, right? And women are looking for 6'4", certain amount of money. And if it doesn't fit this, and guess what? I'll tell you straight up. The partner that I attracted, my wife, and I for her, was the thing that showed us that love is not in the external. It's not in an age. It's not in how you look. Love is internal.
100%.
When my partner first thought that I could potentially be her partner, you know what she thought? I hope it's not him.
No,
That's exactly what she thought. That is exactly what she thought, right? Why? I'm older than her. I had 3 kids. I lived in America. It meant she'd have to move, like all of this stuff, right? And then for me, I attracted the perfect partner to help me heal the last little bits of my masculine energy. Any insecurity I had in my life, it's now gone because of her. Why? Number one, she's taller than me.
Well, I'm taller than my husband.
You
so,
are.
yes.
Yeah,
and we
so
actually had that
You guys
conversation.
know this, yes. And it's really beautiful, especially as a Hispanic man. Because Hispanic men are very like macho, the whole thing. It's all insecurity is what it actually is, right? And so it made me had to deal with this underlying insecurity that I didn't know I had, right? Number two, I had 3 kids. And so I used to think like, how is someone going to accept me with 3 kids? Like, how is someone going to not make me choose? Because I will not choose, Number next, she was younger than me. And on top of it, she's Jewish. So like in the Jewish community, it's like, it's very like everybody hooks up with everybody and everybody marries everybody. She was like the black sheep. She was the one that wanted to do everything different. And so all of these things like combined help us to realize like, wow, like love has nothing to do with anything that social media and the world is telling you it has to do with. And this is like my warning for everybody. If you don't get out of here and you get into here, you're going to end up with someone that's your mind mate, not your soul mate.
So question, what do you think the masculine and the feminine are craving from each other right now?
Acceptance.
Okay.
Allowance. Vulnerability.
Is it like truth? It's the heart thing.
It's this.
Yeah.
Because look, guys, let me give you a visual. We are all masculine and feminine. Because we were all born from a father and a mother. But the secret to life and the secret to power, to the power that you have in this life, it's not in masculine and feminine. It's in first healing your masculine and feminine, right? I was very wounded in my masculine and my feminine, right? I would do things not because I wanted them. I would do things because of what you would think of me if I did them. I was 100% driven by the exterior, right? My feminine, I never allowed myself to feel. I rejected love. I gave gifts, never received them. My whole career supposedly was about, I want to help you. I want you to like me. If I'm honest, right? So once we go into healed masculine and healed feminine, then and only then can we return to our heart. And the heart is the source to the divine. And when you connect to the divine, that's when real healing takes place. This is what we do at Awaken. We take you through such a profound spiritual journey that when you come through, we've had ancestors come through, we'd have angels come through, we have people realize all the hurt and pain that their mother and father caused them and had them forgive them in one shot. We had people reconnect to their ancestral line. We had people heal sexual trauma. We have people's bodies heal. We had like magical stuff, but it's accessible to all of us. We just gotta quiet this enough to be able to access it, basically.
Wow.
We're also disconnected, aren't we, in this modern society? I feel like we've had this conversation so many times that now everything is so disconnected.
What's it all for?
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we chasing?
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Wasting our lives.
Yeah.
Do you know, the night before my dad passed away, he was a Buddhist, and he said, everything apart from Dharma, one of his last sentences he said to me is, everything else is a waste of time. He was like, everything you're doing, you're wasting your time.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until... So let me give us hope here, right?
Yeah, sorry. That's where we're heading.
Yeah, because it's not all, but it's just...
No, it wasn't a negative. I think he just meant connecting with it.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's just, what's the energy in which you're doing it from? Right?
Yeah.
Because what if, I'm just going to throw it out there. What if, so I have these clients I work with, right? Millionaire women. Hard driven, but they come to me because their body won't open during sex. They have a very difficult time connecting with men or trusting them. Well, of course, the only way you could be hard driven is if you're what? You understand? Pain is what causes a woman to go. A woman's natural desire is to just be.
Yeah.
That's the feminine. So my first question to them is, could you ever allow yourself to be provided for by a man? What do you mean by that? No.
We had, and we agreed that we very much...
Could you ever allow
Oh, it's hard because there's a part of me that's like,
I know.
oh, yeah.
I'm an independent woman.
Right. Okay, watch. And so the answer would be like, well, but I don't have to. But you know, but. Where's the resistance coming from? Because if you ask me right now, for example, if I could have everything provided for and I didn't have to do shit, my answer is yes, 1,000%.
Me too.
Right?
Like,
So let's just get real. Let's just get real, right? Right? So then there's resistance. Where did I learn that resistance, right? And so the question has to become, the thing that allows us to like really go deep is like, if it were perfect and if I could trust, would I allow it?
Okay.
And there's so much in that question,
100%,
right?
yeah.
There's so much. So when I got with my wife, we were just dating. I'll tell you when everything really started shifting. I remember when I first met her and I shook her hands. I remember, just because I'm sensitive to energy, I remember she's got really masculine hands. I remember feeling that, right? And I remember seeing like little things, like she wouldn't let me open the door for her or pull her chair out, or like just, or even like send her flowers or send a car for her. Her mom literally, would you just let someone be nice to you? She wouldn't let. Wow. Why? Because she didn't feel safe. That's why. Yeah. Her experiences with men caused her to not feel safe. Okay. So we start flying back and forth, dating. She's in London. I'm in the US, right? We start flying back and forth. And she's like, oh, babe, you know, I'd fly more often if I didn't have to pack every time. She just said it. Well, I'm me. I'm not saying do this. I'm just saying this is how I roll. I said, don't pack. We'll just buy you all brand new clothes here. Wait, what? Glitch in the matrix. Glitch in the story, right? Because what would that mean? But I would. But what do you do? I have to. So we go to the store, literally, and I was like, "Here, just get whatever you want," right? Because that's how I operate. When a woman is with me, like I don't care if it's you or all your friends, you're not paying for anything, because it's just how I am. And for a man, if you think about it, like if you can allow, because so many men are like, no, well, they're 50-50. Shut up. Like the greatest thing that you could ever do for your life as a man is to have the desire to provide for a woman, because just in that energy, God will multiply whatever you do tenfold.
I was just going to ask, what if a man physically can't, if they're not in that financial position?
Then make it a goal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then make it a goal. Yeah. And if he can't, that's okay. But look into why not. What's the belief? What's the blockage? What's the thing that is stopping you? Because it ain't physically, it's mentally and energetically. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I mean, we can go do another podcast all on, because now let's go into money is just energy.
I loved actually, you spoke about recently about money blockages being connected to your mother wound.
It's exactly. But let me go back to Jen.
So
then I bought her a whole new wardrobe. Toothpaste, the whole thing. And of course I'm going to do that. Happily, right? And then it came up, she said, that was the most uncomfortable thing of my life.
Wow. By surrendering to you.
Because I had to surrender. Mm-hmm. But that had to happen for this to happen, because watch. So then she comes and we get pregnant. The moment she was here and I was there when we found out. Oh. I hopped on a plane to come over here. I didn't want her to be alone. I came over here for like 2 or 3 weeks. And then it was like, okay, you're coming with me. Mm-hmm. Well, what about my contract with the... Well, whatever you want, but what I will tell you is when you're having a baby, you're going to need time to heal and to focus because that's the most important thing for the baby, right? But again, will you allow that? So it was a journey for us, right? It was a journey for us. And here's the beautiful thing. She went all the way into full surrender, full providership. Yeah. Like literally, like for the first time in her life, she didn't earn a dime. You're like shitting bricks right now. I can feel it from you right now. She's like, yeah. And you're like, no, right?
It's making me emotional because I'm like, what's going on inside?
Yeah.
This is what's,
And so, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. And then for a year and a half after Selena's birth, she was in full like, and then her truth came out. But I want to work. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you allow yourself the space to be provided for as a woman, what if your truth is, I don't want to work? What if your truth is you want to stay home and cook and bake and support that way, which is very valuable? What if your truth is you want to make the home and take care of the money and make investments or whatever, right? I don't know. The key is don't do it from default.
But, and I think this is a really important part of the conversation is whether it's choice, whether
Bingo.
you have the choice. And I'm
Exactly.
saying it from a place because I had to work whilst in the, throes of
Right.
raising my girls. And I
Right.
found that so hard.
It's rough.
So when you're talking about it, I'm like, oh my God, I would love to, because, and maybe there's like a different, it's choice based, I guess. Yeah.
Right. What we're saying is we together as a couple, we went through the portal. Everything is a portal. Everything is an opportunity to heal, to discover. And we went in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where she literally, she's a hardworking, she's driven, right? And she came out of it and she said, this isn't for me. And I go, I know it's not for you. But now you get to choose from your truth, not from like a need.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can ever discover that is to surrender.
Yeah.
Is to surrender, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now, today, she not only does her own events, she's my partner in what we do.
Yeah.
But none of it would have came from a healthy, real energy if we didn't go through that together.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not.
All right, let's go to another question.
Yeah.
You know what? We've got so many other things that I really wish that we could talk to you about, but we are running out of time.
Yeah.
But we do have some quick fire, higher
Let's do
energy
it.
ones. So
Yeah.
maybe we could finish on that.
absolutely.
But I think we will need to do a round two another time because this
Whenever you want.
conversation
Please, Danny,
has
this
been
You guys are wonderful.
Incredible.
Okay, quick fire. What is one book that has changed your life?
Oh my God.
If you could choose
Sorry.
one, yeah.
Okay, spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle.
Okay, yeah. I've read that. Brilliant.
And Conversations with God. Go read that one.
Okay.
Financially, The Science of Getting Rich by Dr. Wallace Wattles.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Okay.
I'll give you those three.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. What's your current non-negotiable daily habit?
To not have a daily
I was
life.
just about to say, now that we
That's
know
a
you a
lot.
bit better, I thought he's not going to have one.
What grounds you when life feels chaotic?
My wife.
Oh,
Yeah, she's amazing.
I know. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Home is where the heart is. And I only learned that when I had built my perfect bachelor pad. And my ex-wife says, I'm taking the boys and I'm moving to Texas with or without you. And I was like, well,
I'm moving to.
moving to Texas too. And that's, to me, it's not about a location. It's about wherever you are, as long as you know that home is where the heart is, you'll be happy.
What's one thing every man should start doing today?
Well, shit.
Yeah, I know that's a big one.
The state of men today is a little...
Like, I know you spoke about meditation. Should more men be trying to connect and meditate? Like, what do you think?
Okay, so listen, guys. The woman is the heart of the universe. The man is the mind of the universe. Together we create life. What's happening right now is the woman is disconnected from her heart, and the man is disconnected from his heart as well. So we're both living up here. I would say, and there's no way the woman is ever going to drop to her heart if she doesn't feel safe and feel that he has dropped into his. So I would say for every man out there, if you want to change the world, change your inner world. And what I mean by that is that you've been told that you were a bitch or that you were gay or you were derogatory comments if you tapped into your emotions when you were a little child. Your very own parents taught you that crying meant ridicule and not being safe. And I would say it's time to return to your emotions. I would say it's time to return to what you feel and start paying attention to what you feel and go feel it. If you feel sad, feel sad. Lie down on the floor, kick and scream, cry, act for 90 seconds. And what, all of you, here's another, all of you, men or women, we're so disconnected from our feelings. You watch your little kids, they feel everything and they feel it expressively. And then somewhere along the road, society teaches us that feeling is bad and our feelings get locked up, right? And so look up a chart of feeling, Google it, whatever, ChatGPT it, and it'll show you all the feelings that humans can feel. And you know what I realized I used to always feel? Nervous. For what? I don't know. Nervous. And so what did I do? I acted out feeling nervous for 90 seconds. like I go all in, right? And guess what happens? I never felt nervous ever again. It was a trapped feeling. Whatever it is, excited, scared, timid, shy, whatever it is, go feel it for 90 seconds. Like really feel it and watch. It'll be gone.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah. And I think that's what men need to do is return to their feelings.
I honestly think that's so powerful. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
A quote or mantra that you come back to often, if you have one.
Or mantra. We are all one.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you feel most connected to yourself?
On stage at Awaken.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because that's your purpose in life, do you think? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's...
Well, we can't wait to see it one day.
Yeah.
Just remember this moment.
Okay.
Just remember, you're my guest. Just remember this moment. And remember at the end of day 3, when you're looking at me with tears in your eyes and you go, you'll say these words. Every human being on planet Earth needs to experience this. Just remember that moment.
I feel like that already. Yeah.
I know, I can feel it. I feel like this just after this conversation. So,
Danny, honestly, this has been so incredible and so powerful.
Beautiful.
And where can everyone find you, or what's your website address or Instagram?
We Instagram is Danny Morel, but I think a great place to start. We have a 1-day virtual event.
Okay.
Where we go into masculine and feminine and healing the mother-father wound. And we did it virtually because when this is something we all have to deal with. And that's at dannymorel.com/heal.
Okay.
So that's where I would go.
Amazing. Danny, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your time and wisdom today.
Thank you,
honestly.
for sure.